Walk us through what happened. I understand you were pulled over for a speeding ticket. You refused to sign it, and that's when this got out of hand?
Yeah, I was pulled over for a speeding ticket. I kept asking, how fast was I going? What was I pulled over for? I thought that he was pulling someone else over besides me, and I was following him. He pulled over to the side after he turned his lights on. Then I went out around him, and I thought he was going to pull a car in the other direction over. So I was pretty confused as to why he was pulling me over, because I also thought I was in a 65-mile-per-hour speed limit zone and hadn't yet crossed into the 40-mile-an-hour. So I was confused, and he just wouldn't explain to me why he'd pulled me over. And then he asked me to get out of the car, and when he did, I thought he was going to let me show him the sign that said 40 miles per hour, so that we could say, hey, yeah, you really weren't in that zone, go ahead and go on, or be able to resolve it right there. But he ended up pulling the taser out, which I thought was a real gun, and like I say, that was an extremely scary moment.
Let me ask you a quick question. So you see when he pulls the taser, you're talking when you were explaining what happened, you at first didn't realize how much the situation had escalated. But when he pulls the taser gun out and points it at you, you actually turned your back to him and started to walk away. Why did you do that? Why at that point didn't you just say, hold on a minute, I don't agree with what's going on here, but I better just stop?
Yeah, good question. When I got out of the car, I was under no impression that he was going to arrest me, that it was going to escalate to anything like that. I honestly thought he was asking me to get out of the car so that we could look at the sign. So when I saw him pull a gun on me, and you got to realize at the time I thought it was a gun. I was scared to death. I was scared for my life. I had my 6.5-month pregnant wife in the car, 15-month-old baby, and those panic thoughts start going through my mind of what's going to happen to me, what's going to happen to them. I really felt that this cop would shoot to harm me.
Wow,
you didn't know
you didn't know it was a taser.
I had no idea it was a taser.
You did file for a Freedom of Information request, and that's why you posted it on YouTube. What do you wanted people to see this clearly? What do you want to see happen in this situation, Jared?
This is probably one of the wonderful things about America is here we are in a country where we can take something like this and begin a public dialogue on it and say, is this right? If it's not right, how can we correct the problem? What do we need to do to correct it? Do we need to, better train, regulate better when tasers are used? Do we need to educate the public better? Because this is a potentially lethal weapon that was used on me over a trivial traffic violation.
Right. You do look like you're okay, and that's good news, because when you see the video, it does. It does make you feel a little bit scared when you see what happened. So stick with us, because we're going to talk to a representative from the Highway Patrol right now. Jared, thanks for being with us. Joining me now from Salt Lake City, Utah, is Sergeant Jeff Niver. He's a spokesman with the Utah Highway Patrol. Welcome, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Can you explain, I understand there is an internal investigation that's going on right now, but can you explain to the best of your knowledge what you think happened in the video that we saw?
Well, as you very well mentioned, there is an internal review right now, so I can't get into too much detail as far as what happened. I think there was a lot of emotion involved in this situation. I think there was a lot of, I would even go as far as saying a little bit of ego involved on both sides. And we want to look at this. Every taser deployment, at least from our troopers of the Highway Patrol, is a serious matter, and we look into each and every one of those.
When another officer arrived on the scene, we know from this tape that one of them said, quote, "Oh, he took a ride with a taser." Does that suggest that this sort of thing is routine or no big deal?
Not at all. It is very serious to us. That's not something that we should have said by any means. It's non-professional, and that shouldn't have happened. As I mentioned, we do take every taser deployment very seriously, as far as calling medical to the scene to make sure and check out that person is okay. We also have a 9-page taser deployment policy that we are required to follow and train on every year.
So did this officer violate that policy?
That's exactly the decision, or the result that we're trying to come to right now with our internal review. We are trying to expedite that as much as possible to get it done and hopefully resolve this as soon as possible.
And there are two larger questions that come up with this one. And first, it is with the use of the taser. It is considered, through police departments across the country, to be a non-lethal weapon. That's what they call it. That's what they say.
Absolutely.
And in 99% of the cases, it is non-lethal, even though last week we had 3 different incidents around the country where someone was tasered and ended up dying. My question, though, is if somebody pulled out a gun, maybe they would think twice. I mean, it would be a different situation because, you know, maybe you could kill somebody. Does the fact that a taser is non-lethal make officers a little bit more trigger happy than they may be if they actually were pulling out a gun?
You know what, as far as the tasers go, I don't know all the intricacies of a taser, but as far as the tasers go, in our opinion, have saved, at least here in Utah, hundreds of lives. And that what I mean by that is not only the suspects' lives, but the officers' lives, as well as the citizens and citizens of the state's lives. You know, whether it makes them more trigger happy, no, I don't think so. I think it gives them an extra tool that is not deadly force, and I think that saves lives.
One other quick question, the dash cams. I mean, we've seen dash cam video after dash cam video. Is that, you know, and when you file this Freedom of Information Act, as we saw here, he was able to put it out on YouTube. Is that a good thing? Does it make police officers, I guess, more vigilant, maybe think twice, or is it something that impedes them from doing their job of public safety?
You know, I think our biggest concern is simply putting out this video prior to any type of litigation or any type of review or IA investigation could compromise that case, and that's kind of our biggest concern. Does it concern us that it's out there to the public? Absolutely not. We're very open as the Utah Department of Public Safety to the public and to the media, but that is one of the things that concerns us. Will it compromise a case in the future? Could this video turn out to be a video of somebody being murdered, somebody being raped? I mean, those are some things that obviously concern us.
Just before we let you go, would this have been investigated? Would an internal investigation have been launched if this tape did not make it out there in the public?
We have been aware of it. It did happen September 14th of 2007, which was 2 months ago. We have been aware of it and have been looking into it. This is obviously has sped up the process a little bit. As I mentioned before, we are expediting it.